The Destiny 2 beta is here, and it feels the same as Destiny 1. So I played a ton of Destiny 1, if you're not too familiar with my channel, and, well, I love Destiny 1. It was a great game, and I've really enjoyed this beta so far for the same reasons, but I guess I'm kind of shocked at how much is exactly the same from Destiny 1 to Destiny 2. It's got the same overlay. Just so many things feel exactly the same. It's got the same overlay. The majority of the powers are the same. The 3 different grenades for the Hunter class are the same. I mained Hunter in Destiny 1, and I'm pretty sure I'll do the same thing for Destiny 2. It's got the same home screen. The HUD looks identical. I was browsing the Destiny subreddit, Destiny the game subreddit, I should say, and someone had posted a video recently of Destiny 1, and just expecting all of the posts to be about Destiny 2, I watched it for about a minute and a half before I realized that the video was actually Destiny 1. Like, the two games are so freaking similar. It's got the same kind of social hub aspect to it. They opened up the Treehouse, which I have a little bit of gameplay of later in the video. So this is a long video. I have one match where my team dominated from the casual competitive multiplayer mode. Oh god, so this game also needs a lot of tweaking. It's so strange. Well, it's a beta, so I'm not expecting all of these things to come out exactly the same, but picking up the power ammo for the rocket launcher, that was the first time I'd actually used the rocket launcher. I got it as a drop in the previous match before recording this. You get one rocket for it, and it didn't even kill the guy, and I shot pretty dang close to him. I would have imagined that I would have got a kill with the rocket launcher in that situation, but and then I think you get 7 shots with this sniper rifle, and it's a one-shot headshot kill. Kind of ridiculous. Anyway, yeah, the same grenades, but it's still this game still has the best in class, I believe, first-person shooter controls for any console game, and it's like the smoothest, fastest-paced, most fun console shooter that I've ever really played. I mean, Bungie, with Halo, pioneered the first-person shooter on the console, and they are really still the best in my opinion. I mean, you can make a lot of arguments for Call of Duty, but I prefer Halo and Destiny over that. But I have not pre-ordered the game on the Xbox yet. I'm recording on the Xbox right now. I pre-ordered on the PC, and I will probably end up getting an Xbox version, a physical version, so that I can return it as soon as, or trade it in as soon as the PC version comes out. So I thought this was really interesting. I don't remember this being in the first Destiny, or any other game for that matter. They have a mercy rule. We were destroying the other team, and the announcer just said, "All right, I'm calling it. This game's over." I was really surprised to see that. It was really cool. Well, I guess I've just never seen it in any other game. Okay, so this is the Treehouse here. This is the new social space. So if you played the beta, you might not have seen this. They had it open for 1 hour on Sunday. I think that was it. And there was no vendors. There was no nothing. You really didn't miss a lot if you did miss it. But this is basically going to be the tower from Destiny 1, where all the vendors and the different factions, and just an area to kind of jump around and do silly stuff. There's also a soccer ball and a goal that you can score, and some fireworks to set off. It's kind of underwhelming. Not really a ton going on when I was here, other than to just run around for a couple minutes and hopefully try to find some hidden thing, but I really didn't find anything other than the soccer ball that you can score. I put into the goal, obviously. So after this, I'm going to show the new Attack and Defend competitive game mode, which I really, really enjoyed. Very Counter-Strike style, and I'll explain that a little bit more when we get into it. It's got this, there's so many things about this game that are exactly the same. If you told me that Destiny 2, or that this demo was a demo for the new major DLC expansion pack for Destiny 1, I would have believed you. It's so unbelievably similar. So those fireworks going off in the distance is what happens when you score 3 goals on one of the sides, which I'm going to do right here. The soccer physics are bizarre, and kicking the ball around is a total crapshoot, but it's kind of fun to do the sliding kicks. Yeah, it's got the same silly emote wheel. Maybe they were going to add some heavily requested features like presets for PvP or PvE, so I can load out my hunter the way that I want for each mode. But that's not in the beta, so I'm not really holding my breath to see that coming in the full version. Oh, so this is the new competitive mode, and every game that I've played of the competitive mode has been mismatched. The first 3 games that I played, my team was underpowered at the beginning of the match, and then in this game, the other team was down 3 enemies to 4 as soon as the match started. Kind of ridiculous. It's a beta, but I really don't expect it to be that different. So they added a little buff to the throwing knife for the hunter in this, which I really liked. It basically gives the hunter 2 grenades, and I have got kills with it. If you kind of put it, it explodes when it hits the ground, and it's actually, if you got someone down to their last shot or 2, it's actually very helpful for hitting people around a corner. Wow, good shooting there, John. Anyway, so this mode, it lets you revive your teammates after they die. So it's, if you've played Counter-Strike, it's very similar. There's 2 bomb points. You get 1 life. Though in this, you can revive your teammates, which you're going to see me do here in just a minute. It's a very easy way. Well, very easy way. It's it can really turn the tide of the battle, especially if the other team is not expecting there to be 2 teammates or 2 people alive still. And I kind of turned around here at this point, because on the mini map, if you look in the top left, there's a white dot saying like, oh, there's the bomb plant spot. And I heard from the announcer that they planted the bomb, but on the, it didn't actually mark, or it still had the non-important bomb place marked on the map, which was really strange. So I just have to get used to not looking at the mini map for where the bomb has been placed. Oh, I cut out a couple bad rounds in this too, so if you see the score jump around a little bit, don't worry about it. I tried to keep this video as entertaining as possible and just show the best gameplay. So one of the few things that they added to this that I found fascinating is that on this mode specifically, they added some interesting stats. They added a total damage dealt stat to the end of this, so you can see not just who got the most kills or most assists or that kind of stuff, but who actually did the most damage to the other team, which is something that I've been begging for since Destiny 1 came out, especially on the strikes, or yes, the strikes, the PvE player versus environment, player versus computer modes. Like, they didn't add any of that stuff for Destiny 2, and I'm really hoping that they do add that to some of the raids and that kind of stuff for this game. And it's just, it feels like so little that they added. It's that shouldn't, that the fact that to the final stat screen they added how much damage you do is like a revelatory thing. It really shouldn't be that huge of an addition. It should be like, oh, that's one of them, 50 amazing things that they added and changed about this game. But it's not. It's one of the biggest additions I've seen to this game that really makes me think like, oh wow, they're actually listening to the community. But they only added it to one of the many game modes. It's so strange. So yeah, the matchmaking issues I've had with this mode, I just hope it's a beta only thing. I'm really curious to see if they have some sort of ranking system like they used to have in Halo, like a 1 to 50 level scale thing, which they didn't have in Destiny 1. I really enjoyed that in Halo 2 and on. Well, and I guess like Halo, man, what was the last Halo game that Bungie worked on? Was it 4? Or Reach? I can't remember. I've lost track of when they kind of passed the torch. But yeah, that 1 to 50 ranking scale was so much fun, and it seems, it's always felt to me like co-op, or not co-op, PvP in Destiny has been an afterthought. And they never really catered to the people who want to make a good team and maybe have, you know, like a similar, well, to so many other games, they'll have team only playlists versus like 4-on-4, but you're going in solo playlists, so you don't get completely outmatched if you're going in by yourself. Just like a lot of things like that, they just never really seem to focus on the PvP, which has always been my favorite part of Destiny or Halo, or really any competitive or any first-person shooter, really. One of the big things that I think has got the most attention in Destiny 2 that has earned no favor from me personally is that they've added a lot more story elements to this game. And honestly, I didn't even notice. I constantly skip every cutscene. I don't care. So seeing all the people in the forums and all that talk about like, oh, it's so much better because, you know, they added a lot to the story and they're actually putting a lot of energy into the story. It doesn't really matter one way or the other to me. The PvE raids and all that kind of stuff, to me, that's just about getting more loot to bring back into multiplayer. And the cutscenes are just a waste of time, so it doesn't really have any impact on me one way or the other. Let's see, what else? Man, yeah, so there's a total damage dealt stat, which I found fascinating. I wish they did that for everything. So now we're jumping into the strike, which actually has a pretty difficult boss at the end. There's a couple quirks in this, and I saw some of the developers, I think, posting on forums about issues with ammo, and particularly heavy ammo. They mentioned that they did not, or that this strike did not drop enough heavy ammo throughout the entire mission. But I found it really dumb. I think I played through this strike maybe 3 times during the beta. Oh, and they extended the beta by a couple days as well. So it was originally supposed to end on Sunday, but now it's ending on Tuesday. So I'll be streaming some multiplayer over the next couple days to promote this video as well. And oh, I lost my train of thought. Well, anyway. Oh, the strike and the ammo. So I found myself during the final boss fight of this mission frequently running out of primary and secondary gun ammo at the most critical point in the fight. And there's no respawning. Very similar to Destiny 1, there's like this kind of outer area, the opening area of the strike, where you can die as many times as you want. And it doesn't really matter. Your whole team isn't going to reset and wipe and have to start the whole section over again. But towards the end of this, when you get to the final boss, excuse me, you actually milk waterfall. The scenery in this game is amazing. Like, Bungie knows how to design incredibly gorgeous and very compelling worlds. Like their design of these futuristic space worlds is second to none, really, and it's absolutely gorgeous. And you know, the competitive multiplayer mode map, now that I'm kind of reflecting on it, was kind of dull. The fast-paced, low-intensity, as they describe it, multiplayer map, I'm drawing a blank on the names. It was kind of it was this environment here, but the competitive mode in the city was very kind of humdrum and uninteresting. It was just a downtown city area. Like every game has a downtown city area. Anyway, so towards the end of this, you're gonna run into a situation where you're gonna run out of ammo. But I found out that if you die and then have one of your teammates revive you, you instantly spawn with full ammo, or at least it might not be full ammo, but a hell of a lot more ammo than you had before you died. So I found myself, so there's like 3 stages to the final boss, that at the beginning of the 3rd stage, before it gets too crazy, I would kill myself, have one of my teammates revive me, so that the last stage was much easier and I wasn't worried about running out of ammo, and I could just fire to my heart's content and just get as much damage dealt as humanly possible. Oh, so this I actually found fascinating as well. It's a tiny detail, and the fact that this tiny detail is what I'm going to spend a minute or two talking about is just crazy, because there should be a ton of bigger changes to Destiny 2 than the tiny details. When you're when you first go into the no respawning area, and you're the new ghost, not Peter Dinklage, but I don't know the new actor's name. He makes some joke about walking into the light, and there should be some sort of metaphor there. That line changes. That is not a set line that you're going to hear every single time that you rerun this strike. And it's more noticeable when you get to the final part, the final boss section of this strike here, and you end up kind of like beginning the boss fight and hearing their dialogue a couple times. It's actually random. They have, I don't know how many recorded lines, but I would say at least 3 to 5 different lines recorded for various sections, so that when you end up doing the same part over and over again, it doesn't feel as repetitive, or you're not like as annoyed by the voiceover artists for saying the same nonsense over and over again. And it's a very tiny detail, but it actually does help with help make what can be a repetitive part of the game, doing the same strike over and over again, or the same part of the strike over and over again, less monotonous. Some of the set pieces in this have been incredible. During the opening mission, when you have to destroy some of the fans, and kind of like there's like this big turbine room, you have to jump down and do enough damage to some of the fans, and then coming up, we're gonna go through this huge kind of like drill area. Just like in this enormous piece of machinery spinning around, and the whole environment is just based around this huge set piece. And I really hope that this isn't just the best strike of all the ones in the game, and that they all have incredibly unique pieces of environmental design, because that is something that I think that the last game kind of missed in retrospect. It was more just like, okay, go to this interesting area and kill these enemies, and go to this area and kill these enemies. And whereas this one has a little bit more, or so far, it seems to really feature a lot more environmental obstacles, and like changing environments, and things to make certain battles feel more than just lather, rinse, repeat. Aim down sight, shoot, kill, move on, reload, blah, blah, blah. That kind of repetitive nonsense over and over again. So there's a couple more things, like even the ammo, like all the colors are the same. The ammo colors are this. I'm getting frustrated with all the things that I'm even noticing now, just watching this recording, that were the same thing over and over again. There's a couple interesting things that I don't know if are beta specific, or if it's just because, or if that's what Destiny 2 is going to be like. So there are no material farming in this, so I'm hoping that the loot and upgrade system is going to be a little bit more evolved, a little bit less grindy, I guess would be the best way to put it, compared to Destiny 1, because at launch for Destiny 1, one of the well, not popular, but important things to do is figure out, okay, here's a good spin metal farming route to take on the moon to upgrade armors or weapons or whatever it is you need to upgrade. And just from looking at the pause screen, it seems like the overall power or light, like leveling system, yeah, like I have 200 power now, and that seems like it. The tooltip says it is a cumulative number based on all of the different armors and weapons and all that kind of stuff that you have equipped. And right now I'm just checking out a new pistol to see if it's any good. A lot of the weapons feel like garbage. The starting weapons, especially in multiplayer, it took me a while to find, or not to just find and to acquire, but to discover like the loadout that really worked for me for multiplayer. And there are some garbage guns that you will, I mean, you'll just get walked over. And considering that like all of the weapons are kind of balanced, in that they're all level 20 weapons, and that there's only a very fixed amount, or there is a very fixed amount of different weapons that you can have for multiplayer, or just in this beta in general. Like I've gotten so many duplicates of the different weapons and duplicates of different armors and whatnot, that it just doesn't, the fact that the weapons are so imbalanced, yet everything is so static and supposedly balanced, it doesn't seem to really bode well for the full game when there's going to be, hopefully, a lot more variety in the different weapons you can find, and in the different stats attached to weapons and that kind of stuff. The weapons system in Destiny, I still think, is one of the better ones in any game. Just how much variety and how much customization there can be. And it seems like they turned off a lot of the Western weapon customization for the guns in this game. Like if you go into the advanced view of the weapons, especially on the elite weapons, the yellow or gold weapons, it seems to have a very similar system to. Did my controller disconnect there or something? Why was I just staring at the screen for the sky for a minute there? It seems to have the same system, except like as Destiny 1, where you can turn on and off, kind of like in a trade-off, different powers for different weapons. And like, let's say, this pistol, you can have more bullets versus faster reload. Like, except all of that was kind of wiped clean for the beta, but it's the same interface. So I'm assuming that for Destiny, the full game, Destiny 2, the full game, that it's going to be the same kind of trade-off system. But we'll see. I don't know. I mean, there's a lot. There's a lot to be discovered, I believe. And the same. So let's talk about no material farming. I've also seen no weapon drops, loot cave style. Compared to Destiny 1, like every piece of armor or every gun that I've found has been at the end of a mission, which I am, I don't know, I think I like it. I really liked in Destiny 1 how there was a lot of different, well, the random weapon drops, in retrospect, I think I can do without. But I really enjoyed how on the raids that there were hidden treasure chests or special objectives, even hidden objectives that if you completed that you would get unique items. I thought that was a fascinating way to make those raids kind of worth playing a couple times. I mean even 5, 6, 7 times, and kind of keep that interesting, because like as the communal knowledge of the raids would evolve, people would realize, there's this hidden little pathway, and if you go down there, or if you beat the first section without anybody dying, then you have a good chance or a guaranteed chance of getting some other weapon. And like, I thought that was fascinating, and I really hope that they continue to use that kind of weapon unlock system for Destiny 2. I'd be really disappointed if they didn't include that. When I've spent the first half of the video bitching about how many things are exactly the same in this compared to Destiny 1, now I'm talking about all the things that I really hope stay in Destiny 1. Oh, they added better Fireteam chat options. Well, from the launch, or from the start at least. Okay, so here's the big set piece that I loved, and I don't know if it was my teammates' first time during this, but they struggled. They got killed a couple times by those spinning, I don't know, mining bits. I don't know what you would call them. It's a pretty easy section, actually, to miss those different things, and you can actually skip a lot of the enemies because the Cabal and the Vex are fighting each other, and it's pretty easy to just avoid or just like sprint past everything. But because I knew I'd be using this video for well, this recording for this video that I was gonna be talking about all my thoughts on Destiny, I decided to kill as many people as possible and make sure that I ended up at the top of the leaderboard for kills for the entire team. And take a little bit more time to kill every single enemy that I run into, and focus on the ads. Always focus on the ads for the bosses. Never neglect the balls or the ads. Oh, I'm running out of things to say, so I think I'm just gonna, I don't know, summarize my beta thoughts and say, like, I enjoyed it because it felt so much like Destiny 1, and Destiny 1 was an amazing game. I'm disappointed that so many elements feel exactly the same as Destiny 1. They seem to have used a lot of their lessons learned from Destiny 1 to make this a better game at launch. But that being said, I still think that they could have done a lot to change up some of the powers, change up grenades, change up classes, have 3 classes, have some presets so you can quickly switch between PvP and PvE. Things like that that just, I'm shocked that they didn't include in the game. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. Please give it a like, and I don't know, let me know what your thoughts on the Destiny 2 beta are. If you were frustrated that it felt the same as much as I did, I guess let me know in the comments too if you think that, like, if you have not pre-ordered Destiny, if this beta kind of changed your opinion on whether or not you would be interested in Destiny 2. I was chatting with a friend of mine before I started recording this, saying like who he played a lot of Destiny 1, and he said, like, this game is too similar to Destiny 1. I'm not gonna bother picking this up. Like, it's the exact same game. Which, quite honestly, I don't blame him. So when this comes out, I'll be playing on the Xbox until the PC version comes out, and then I'm immediately switching to that. So anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed, and game on.
To the floor. It's switching guns. Getting up from that. Zavala, we're good.
So, Cabal scientists can take a punch, but they're not very smart. I guess they cracked open the planet and that mine came crawling out?
Golden Age computer core and that's all she came up with? I could have said that.
If you'd like my insight, I filed an after-action report complete with 433 tactical notes. I win.